Namaskar दोस्तों, welcome to channel Toxicology and more. Today in this video we'll be discussing another DABT topic, that is precautionary principles, risk characterization and management. Since uh, this is something comes under risk characterization, risk management, there are not many questions from the ABT recertification on this concept, but this is part of ABT brochure in 2026 if you look into the syllabus. So we'll briefly discuss what is the concept of this precautionary principles. When I appeared for the exam in year 2023, I think one question it came on precautionary principle. I cannot exactly recall the question framing, but uh, towards the end of the slide, I have given one question from the using ChatGPT only. So first we'll understand the concepts. We'll refer to two important textbooks. We are going to go through two different videos. One uh, textbook we are referring to Toxicology Risk Assessment for Beginners. This particular textbook is also referred in the ABT brochure 2026. The authors are Jose A. Torres as well as Sol Bost. It is given in page number 212. Okay, I will also show you in the brochure where this precautionary principles and implication is given in the next slide. So let's go through one case study which is given in this particular risk assessment textbook. So the case study is example 1, the use of brominated flame retardants in the furniture. The concept, the important concept, this example case study is that in the in the manufacture in this furniture, no, so household furniture, what we use in our daily homes, particularly we are discussing with respect to America. Always remember that examiner is from the American. Most of the case studies or examples, the question framing will be from the American citizens only, using them as an example. So in the American household, these are the furnitures which are used, and there is a high possibility that these furniture, if there is any fire accident, this furniture will caught fire. Okay, so in this furniture, as a part of this inbuilt furniture, no, certain flame retardants will be used. Okay, so what are those flame retardants? Also, we'll see. Those are nothing but your polybrominated biphenyls as well as polybrominated diphenyl ethers. So these will be part of this furniture. So if there is an accidental cause in the fire in the household also, these furniture will not get burnt because in this inbuilt these furnitures they contain this flame retardants. So this is the whole concept. So but this is what the purpose was. Why to include flame retardants in the case of furniture? But the material with which these flame retardants are made, no, for example, polybrominated biphenyls as well polybrominated diphenyl ethers, they themselves have some adverse effects. They themselves have some toxic effects. What are those toxic effects? Means everyday exposure to these flame retardants might cause neurobehavioral side effects, and the children who are staying in that particular household will also get some kind of adverse effects. So what are those things? So there is a concern. Now, uh, how to apply these precautionary principles? You should always, whenever you are reading, no, you have to think with respect to weight of evidence approach also. So what is that we'll discuss. And another thing, when we are reading about these examples, also understand another example like 30-40 years back, no, in the American household only, paints were in the wall, on the wall paints, no, lead containing paints used to be there. Children used to scrap that material and they used to consume. So they, in that way, children got exposed to lead. So like that, that is one example. So there are a lot of household appliances where children population can get exposed, even adult population can exposed on a daily basis, and it will cause some adverse effects. So these are the examples which they will give in the TABT exam, because the exam is conducted by the American board. So this is the background behind what I'm trying to explain in this video about this flame retardant example. So let's see what is the textbook it is saying. The case study is an example of how risk assessment decisions and policy. This is very important because risk assessment is done. Next steps are risk characterization, risk communication, risk perception, risk mitigation. Okay, the policy makers, after getting all the risk assessment reports, how they are going to create the policy, how they are going to communicate to the common people about this particular risk, how the people are going to respond it. So those things will be very challenging. Socioeconomic reasons also we need to keep into mind. So risk assessment decisions and policy can impact the consumer. Here, who is the consumer? Human being. And regulatory decisions. So, if suddenly you start replacing this furniture with some other kind of more expensive furniture or like that, how the people are going to react to it. Those things are also you have to keep it in mind. It also shows how different kinds of risk management decisions, as I told, no, since this is a policy making, there are different set of group of people will be there, and each group of people might end up with a different kind of mindset or different type of decision making process. All should come and align to a single decision. So different kinds of risk management decisions may have to be weighed by stakeholders. So who are the policy makers are there, who is preparing the act, who is preparing the final socio-economic decisions, no, they have to keep in consideration of all this group of people, then only they have to make the final decision. Okay, so we'll see historically brominated flame retardants. So this is in the furniture. So here flame retardants will be using have been added to the furniture in order to help assist the slowing the progress of a home fire. If there is a home, accidentally some fire is there, so furniture should not get burnt. So they started adding flame retardant to this furniture. So this is the concept. Many accidental fires started in homes can gain force and size when igniting and consuming other materials, which can result in unfortunate casualties. Okay, scientific studies have shown that brominated flame retardants. What are those? Those are example here: biphenyls, polybrominated biphenyls, polybrominated diphenyl ethers. So physicochemical characteristics of every chemical is very important. So here these flame retardants, no, these biphenyls, no, they are lipophilic, okay, lipid loving, bioaccumulative. So if they are there in the environment, they start get accumulation, the bioaccumulative, biopersistent, biomagnification. These terms as a risk assessment you have to read. Suspected of causing neurobehavioral effects. As I told, no, daily exposure to these flame retardants in the closed household, it is going to have adverse effect on your neurobehavior, on your CNS and endocrine disruption. So some European countries have banned the use of this polybrominated diphenyl ethers, that is PBDE, and polybrominated biphenyl, so that is PBBs. Okay, this is the concept. Now, in these European countries, these particular flame retardants have been banned. So, if you are banning this particular, then how they are going to you have to replace it with some other alternative, no? That comes again, 3R principle will come into existence. So, we'll see. Because you cannot risk the population under burning. Okay, you have to replace it with alternate flame retardants. So a regulatory decision in the Europe known as RoHS directive. Similarly, what we have in the case of Europe, ECA REACH registration is there. So similarly, for this household products, European they have a regulatory agency, a regulatory policy. This thing is called RoHS directive. As a set the legal limit of 1 gram per kg for the sum of these PBBs, and so always as a risk assessor or risk assessment toxicologist, you need to, if there is a potential concern with certain chemical, then you have to come with a safety limit. So these people, RoHS directive has kept a limit of 1 gram per kg. That you can see. This kg is for the furniture or for the body weight, exposed person body weight that you compare. Go and check. And an argument known as precautionary principle has been the driver for this ban in the Europe. So what are the important 4 steps in the precautionary principles? We'll see. The precautionary principle consists of 4 main clauses. So first one is pursue prevention action in the face of uncertainty. So in the case of first step, no, before any hazard is taking place, if there is a potential concern, prevention is better than cure. This is the statement that you are well aware of. So here it is saying take action to prevent potential harm even when scientific certainty is not completely proven. So scientifically, if you are unable to prove that these are going to, because these experiments, they need some time to get the final result. So before getting the final result only, if you see that there is a potential concern, take the action. Prevention is better. Second one is the proponents of the activity are responsible to demonstrate its safety. Here there are 2 parties are there. So who is about to prove that this particular flame retardants are safe? And another party which are saying these flame retardants are not safe. Okay, the proponents of an activity are responsible to demonstrate its safety. The burden of proof lies with those proposing the activity to show it is safe. Those people, those group of set of people, factory or furniture making industry are there. They are saying that no, no, these flame retardants are safe. So they have to prove that safety. That is the responsibility. So this is burden of proof lies on this particular group or set of people. Next one is explore the range of the possible alternatives. That is 3R principle will come into picture that provide the best outcome with respect to harmful action. Even though we are in the middle of the scientific this thing experiment, we are still not found the final results. If we have an alternate for this flame retardants, go for this. So if there is a potential concern with certain chemical, if we have an alternate chemical for that one, please always go with the alternate chemical. Then next, provide public involvement in making decisions, because suddenly in this furniture, if you stop using flame retardants, that information need to be conveyed to the consumers who are staying in this particular household, and you also need to tell them why you are replacing this flame retardants, or why removing this flame retardant from the furniture, or you are replacing with an alternative. That need to be communicated to the common people who are using. So providing public involvement in making these decisions. As I told you, there are furniture making people, there are the scientific people who are saying that flame retardants are toxic, and that if the final consumer is the common people. All these group of people will come up with different decisions, but all need to be coming together and make a final decision. Okay, finding new chemicals to inhibit ignition of furniture as an alternative to this brominated flame retardants will require new research, because if you're coming with new set of safer chemicals, safer alternatives, somebody has to do the research. So for doing that research, some funding has to be given. So, okay, production process likely to increase the cost of the cost. For example, this sofa was coming only for $10,000. Now it will come for $20,000 or $30,000. So the final consumer will not be able to purchase it. All these things factors need to be considered. Okay, fully removing any retardants from the furniture may mean more people will die in house fires. That's what, no, that has to be communicated, or else people will assume that we do not communicate to them. They'll assume that flame retardant is there in this particular furniture. Okay, without furniture that contains flame retardant, so this communication is also very important. Involving these people in the policy decision making is also very important. There are studies that have been conducted by the academic institutions. So who are the researchers are the one who are saying that okay, these flame retardants are toxic, sponsored by the industry furniture making industry. It is saying it is safe. Each research group may criticize or accuse the other research body of having an underlying agenda, because everybody is trying to prove their point to be true. Okay, so this is how very challenging for the risk assessment toxicologist to communicate, to convey to to those people. So as your career will grow in the risk assessment, you will understand the challenges. Okay, as the reader begins to embark on a career in risk assessment, so the novice will encounter future situations where there are varying opinions and options and what is the right decision. So this is very important. Coming to a common conclusion, what is the right decision? That's why weight of evidence is also very important. Answering these questions will depend on using of foundations of risk assessment. So over the years of experience only you will be getting this one as presented in this chapter. So read this textbook. The main purpose is the approach is similar for addressing the appropriate development of drugs, foods and cosmetic products and occupational settings, as well as questions that address environmental conditions like soil, groundwater, and air quality. So in this video, we have discussed with only one case study from the textbook. In another video, we'll discuss other examples also. So why we are discussing is that it comes under page number, if you see ABT brochure, it comes under risk characterization, section 3, precautionary principles and implications. Assess health risk and management options to protect environment and environmental or public health by deriving protective safety limit and mitigation strategies. So these are the things why we are discussing. Okay, so we'll quickly see. I will request you to pause the video and see this particular diagram. Keep it in mind, these 4 points that need to be considered with respect to precautionary pillars of the precautionary principle. And one question, as I told you, I have taken from ChatGPT. I didn't get a previous ABT questions. The question is, how is the precautionary principle applied to toxicology and chemical regulation? The right answer will be regulatory action to restrict a chemical can be taken even if its exact toxic mechanism is not fully proven. It is under research. Okay, your final result has not come. Still, if you think there is a potential for concern, ban the chemical. That is what it is saying under precautionary principle. See, same this concept you will be seeing risk benefit ratio in the case of weight of evidence approach. So we'll see what are the other options. chemical can be mass produced freely until human fatalities are officially documented. So we are not waiting for the final the disaster. We are not waiting till the disaster has happened. Before only we are taking. That is what prevention is better. Then animal testing must be completely finished. No, even though it is under research, still you can ban the chemical before a substance is completely potentially hazardous. Toxicologists must prove a substance is 100% safe before it can be studied in the lab. So these are the things which are not applicable with respect to precautionary principle. So hope from this video you were able to learn about precautionary principle. Okay, it is given in the ABT brochure. So I would request you to stop and here pause the video and also see, as I told in the middle of the video, that how the REACH, European Regulatory Agency, is there who is safeguarding the chemicals, registration of chemicals. So what is the difference between REACH and RoHS? RoHS is applicable to electronic items, whereas REACH is a wider application, registration of chemicals based on how much tonnage of the production is there, whether it is 1 lakh or 1 lakh above, based on tons of chemicals. So the dossiers will be filled. It might be intermediate dossiers or full dossiers, or low dossier will be there. So go back and check the ACAR REACH registration. There is a recent update in their formatting is also there. Go and explore the website. Thank you so much. Be curious. For any questions, you can always write a mail to arya.priyanka@18gmail.com. All the best for your exam.